Hello, welcome back to Bezalel. My name is Jade. On today's video, I will be sharing 5 tips that you can use to hang your curtains like a professional. If you can get your curtains right, it forms a good backdrop for every other thing you want to do in your space. So again, it's really not about how expensive the fabric of your curtains are. You can buy the most expensive fabric curtains, but if you do not hang them the right way, they will not look nice. They will not look like what you see on Pinterest. And you'll be wondering, why am I not getting the same effect? So I'm going to be sharing 5 tips that you can use to hang your curtains like a professional. Number one is you want to hang your curtains as high as possible. Look, one of the reasons why when you go into a, let's say, palace or a castle, one of the way it feels like it's a very grand building is because you have very tall windows. Yeah. Now, I'm sure most people in their homes do not have that tall, grandiose windows, but you can achieve that same effect by hanging your curtains as high as possible. One mistake I see people do is that if their windows start from here, they put their curtain rod just above um the window, and it doesn't give you that really luxurious feeling. So try and put your curtain rods as high as possible as you can get for your curtains. It makes what it does is it elevates the look of the home. It makes your ceiling feel higher, and it gives your home a very grand and luxurious look. So that's my number one tip. You want to hang your curtains as high as possible. Now, if you live in Nigeria, if you live in a rented space, there is a very high chance that the landlord has most likely put, or the electrician has most likely put a light bulb or a light fixture just above the window. It's very annoying, but it still doesn't stop you from hanging your curtains. Just go as high as the lamp can let you go, and you're still very good. So my number one tip is you want to hang your curtain as high as possible. You would, if you can, if even if that's all you do with your curtains, you would achieve that really lush and luxurious look. So my number two is that you want to get the exact length. um I'm not a fan of short curtains. People might like short curtains, but your house would not look good if your curtains are short. I think the only space you are permitted to have a short curtain is your bathroom and your kitchen if you want to put curtains there. But every other space, I would say go for long curtains, as if you can if you can't, just go for long. It's easier, it looks nicer, it looks well put together, it looks really some nice. So just go for long curtains. Now when you do go for long curtains, I would say avoid your curtains dragging on the floor. So you want to avoid too long curtains. You don't want your curtains to be too long where it's dropping on the floor. Now there's a style for it, but it's very difficult to achieve that look, especially for like everyday living. So I would say my tip is let your curtain floor just kiss the floor. Let it just kiss the floor. And the best way to achieve that look is when you're going to buy your curtains, when you're going curtain shopping, you want to measure your curtains, you want to measure your window from the top to the floor. Remember, I said hang your curtains as high as possible. So you want to start measurement from how high you want your curtain to start to just let it kiss the floor. You don't want your curtain to be too long, you don't want your curtain to be too short. That's my number two tip. The number three tip is this: when you buy your curtain rods, you want to, if your window is small, you don't want your curtain rod to just stay just at the end of the window. What do I mean? So let's assume this is your window. This is the width of your window. This is a window. This book is a window. This is the width of your window. This is a small window. What people will do, people will just put the curtain rod, and the curtain rod would extend from here to here. I would say that's not a very good thing to do. It's what happens that when you do that and when you hang your curtains would block the window and to reduce the amount of sunlight you can get into your space. So my advice is extend your the length of your rod as much as possible. You want your curtain rod to extend much more away from the width of your window on both sides. So when you hang your curtains just fall. So when you hang your curtains and you pull them, your curtains just fall just at the edge of the window. What it does is that it makes your windows look bigger and you are not blocking light from entering into your space. That's my third tip. Yeah. My fourth tip is, I think this is a very common mistake that people make, is that you want to use enough fabric of your curtains. So people, because they're trying to save costs, would buy maybe 2 yards of curtains on a big window. And when they hang the curtain, it just looks like a tissue paper that just stays on their window. It doesn't look nice, you know. It just doesn't look nice. It looks very laid back. It looks very lazy. When you're going curtain shopping, you want to always measure your curtain. You want to always measure your window, especially if you live in Nigeria, because the windows do not come in standard sizes. So the best way is to measure your windows. When you measure your windows, so let's assume again this is your window. When you've measured your window, let's assume this is 27 inches you've measured. The number of yards of curtains you would buy would be double the width of your window. Now, before I continue, I would always advise that you should always buy a pair of curtains for one window. Do not use one curtain for one window. You want to use a pair of curtains. That means two curtains on a window, so you can open your windows up. Now that I've established that, when we are trying to when trying to get the number of yards to use, when you've measured your window, let's say you've measured the width of your window and you get, say, 36 inches, the number of yards of curtain you would buy will be double the width of your window. So your curtain is 36, your window is 36 inches in width. It means you would buy curtains that is about 72 inches. So that is double the width of your window. That would give you a a full effect. If you want to go much more full, I would say go times 3 or times 4 of the width of your curtain. You get a very, very full and luxury bed. Remember, when you go to hotels, it looks full. Sorry, when you go to hotel, the curtains look full, and you can see all those, the fold, the split, because the curtain is full. So when you put it together, it has a very full effect. So you need to buy enough fabric to have that effect. So don't be too, don't want to buy just 1 yard for a big window. Measure your curtain. So curtain, if you want to go much more fuller, you can do times 3, times 4. I would say times 4 is okay. You don't want to go times 5, that'll be too much. But times 4 should give you a very full and lush look. And again, remember to always use a pair. Do not just put one big curtain on your window. Use a pair so that you can open up your curtains and it gives that very nice, lovely look. And my final tip, this one, you don't have to do it, but it's an advice. It's something I feel would be helpful, is to use tie bags. I mean, you've spent the money, you've done all the tips, you've put your curtains high enough, you've bought a really nice fabric, you've done your curtain is full. To bring out that beauty, I would say use a tie bag. Tie bag just gives it that very grand royal effect, and they're not so expensive. It's something you can just negotiate with the sellers. So I would say use tie bags. If you don't want to, put nails in your wall, so like the magnetic ones you can use, that you don't have to nail your wall. So I would always say use a tie bag for your curtains. Use tie bags. They make all the difference. They make it look really nice, really luxe, really beautiful. So use tie bags. A big no, I would say, for cotton, when you're buying your cotton fabric, is buying those bed sheets like fabrics and using them as your curtains. That is a big no-no. If you are a student, that's okay, but if you're a proper adult, you own a house, you have a family, or you're starting a family, even if you're not married, you're above 28, you're 30, you can't be using bedsheet curtains. Please, you cannot be using you can't be using bedsheet curtains. It's a no-no. Get proper curtains and use them. Bedsheet curtains are for kids, they're for teenagers. You can put them in your children's room. Yes, you can put them in your kids' room, but in your sitting room, in your own bedroom, please get proper curtains. They're not expensive. There are different grades of fabric. And again, like I said, it's not about how expensive your fabric are. It's about how you hang them and the things you do to make them look nice. And another extra tip I will give you is that you want to go with cotton fabrics that have very less designs. You don't want your cotton to be too busy. Some people buy really busy looking cotton, different design. No, your cotton, like I said, is the background. It's the foundation for every other thing. So you want to make your cotton as subtle in design as possible, very subtle patterns. You don't want too much flowers, too much. No. It's not nice. You can do, even if you like patterns and design, you can do your patterns and design in other places, in your throw pillows, you know, in your blankets, other things. But your curtains, I would always say, keep your curtains very simple. Make it one color if it's possible. Make it very subtle patterns, nothing too busy, straightforward. So finally, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you've learned a lot. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Please and please, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. Let the channel grow. My aim is to show people that they can actually achieve a nice and beautiful space without spending money. So please help me achieve that dream. Share the video, like it, and let other people be a part of this big family. Thank you.